I can tell you that from information as of this morning, at that time there were about 28 journalists that were trained in Borno alone. As we speak, there are less than 15 that were trained there. And they are not just core media personnel. They're also from Ministry of Information in the state. So where are the rest? It's either they have relocated, it's either they left the organizations because of poor payment, salaries and all of that, or they didn't find polio lucrative. There may be 1,000
What do you mean
reasons.
lucrative?
Like that.
Exactly, because if you are not paid in your place of employment, and there is no support to keep you on monitoring and writing and all of that, what do? You twin it to other things. Politics is there, don't mind you.
Politics.
I want to emphasize the role of traditional, leaders.
Yes.
Because we have, those were the people, and also religious leaders, those were the group of people who actually helped us to demystify the rumors about, the polio vaccine being dangerous. And the government set up the Traditional Leaders Task Force on Immunization and Polio. And they're a statutory body that meets every quarter to discuss, challenges. They get up-to-date information from the experts from WHO, in particular, and UNICEF. And in conjunction, if there are any particular areas where there are issues, they will target, their leadership towards that area, whatever part of the country, it is, coming from. So they have played a very crucial role in helping us, to demystify, this idea that, it can cause infertility or, it is laced with HIV, AIDS virus, and so on. I think that is not a major issue anymore.
I think that since you've mentioned this, you need to tell us about the vaccine itself. I'm sure many out there like me think that it is the children, the babies, who get who are immunized. Now you're mentioning women being infertile, and stuff like that. These are their fears. So how do you all administer the vaccine?
The oral vaccine, there are two types of vaccines, really. There's the oral vaccine that, is given by drops. And
To the baby?
To the baby.
Okay. Which one goes to the women?
All the vaccines are given to the babies.
So,
both the injectable.
So if you give a baby a vaccine, how is it going to make me infertile?
We're talking about when that
The girl
baby
child.
girl child grows up.
Oh, for the girl child.
Yeah, she'll become infertile.
Now it is clear. So there's no problem with the boy child. The boy child can take the vaccine.
Or have HIV/AIDS.
Oh, he can have.
I think
You just couldn't win.
Yes, I think we've moved past that. Happily, we've moved past that, by and large. There's still, some religious sects, and this is not restricted to Islamic sects. There are some religious Christian sects as well who still reject, vaccines.
Sure.
Not just polio, vaccines in general. And what we do generally is we use polio survivors in their, wheelchairs to follow us on our rounds of immunization and use themselves as an example and say, look, if you want your child to be like me, then go and reject him. And almost, 99% of cases, they have helped us, to overcome, some of these rejections and resistance to immunization.
This new case of polio, yes, we talked about we celebrated being polio-free just a couple of weeks back, and now we have these two new cases. How did they come about?
Well, your guess is as good as mine. I was talking to colleagues on JAP, that's Journalists Against Polio in Borno, and I said, what happened? And they threw back that response. Your guess is as good as ours. I said, what do you mean? He said, honestly speaking, the two local government areas, the Sambisa forest is located around Goza. And those are the two local government areas that, in all honesty, there was no media reach. It isn't as if they would not be listening to TV, radio and watching TV if available. But these were areas that, no, the media were not going there. And even immunization was restrictive to the officials. They were always given the warning. Unless you have security following you, don't. So I want to believe that these children were perhaps those that missed immunization when they were born. And perhaps were also among the children, it's yet to be discovered where they were picked up from. Whether they were those who were in Sambisa Forest, were born in captive, we don't know yet. The meeting is still going.
We have that information.
Okay.
The one in Goza is from an IDP camp. And the one in Jere is a child actually that has had 3 polio vaccines.
So he's already collected 3 vaccines.
Has already had 3.
And he still has the virus?
Yes.
How does that happen?
That's right. That goes to the root of what you're talking about. You see, when you're in an environment that is disruptive, like we've had in the Northeast, for the cold chain system to be efficient, number one, there has to be electricity. If there's no electricity, there has to be ice. That means you have to ferry the ice from somewhere. So immunization activity, quality-wise, may not be up to par in those areas. The second thing is that sometimes we malign mothers and caregivers for not bringing their kids out to be immunized. I want to, come to their defense. If you're in an environment that they've been for 2-3 years, the last thing on your mind, really, immunization, when your child is unfed. So it is our responsibility, to accept that there's, some form of failure on our part to ensure that the infrastructure is maintained, to ensure that those children are reached on a regular basis, and that our cold chain system survives, the challenges, that those kind of environment, creates. The virus has been around, we've discovered, since 2011, this same virus. So obviously there has been some background infection that has not come to light. Like I said, the child, who had the virus was not the initial child, under investigation with paralysis. Because only 1 in 200 infections lead to paralysis. So if you pick one child, the chances that 199 other children in that environment have ingested the virus, have the virus in their system, and can pass this virus out into the environment. If you have an environment that is, not sanitary, then there's the possibility of a child. So basically, we need to move forward from here to make sure that majority of children get immunized.
Okay, we'll take a moment and come back to continue the conversation. Please don't go away.